So I do think the Clifton though is falling a little bit behind in the innovation space. So I do think this midsole foam does need an update. It does need to catch up with the competition because so a couple runs done and dusted in this one. Now this is the Hoka Clifton 10 and these are my first impressions. But before we get into it, a big shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also guys, if you haven't done so already and you want to support the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And in the spec, so this one is a neutral, now a max cushion daily trainer, and you're going to be able to pick it up in Australia for $270 or $150 in the US. Now in the weight, what you can see there is the weight of this shoe, US 8.5, so 9.5 ounces or 270 grams. Now in the stack, we've had an increase in the stack here, so we've got 42 in the rear, 34 in the front, and that's going to give us a 8mm drop. And in the upper, so the material that they're using here is a jacquard knit. Now the material itself, it's quite robust, so I've got a feeling it's going to last a long time, very durable, but it's not the most breathable. So it's okay for us because we're going now in Australia into the winter conditions, but you guys in the Northern Hemisphere going into the summer there, this one is going to be a hot shoe. Pretty solid heel count at the back, not a solid cap, but yeah, it's still pretty structured, which I quite like. We've got a pretty exaggerated Achilles flare there, as you can see, and I'm going to say a plush amount of padding around the heel collar and certainly a plush padded tongue. Now the tongue is not gusseted, however I haven't had any issues with it moving around so far because it's got a bit of a unique thing going on here of how the laces thread through. So it's got like a double eyelet there to stop any movement, so it's quite effective with our lacing system. So no surprises here, standard eyelets on either side, exactly what you would probably expect from the previous Clifton, but yeah, no issues lacing up. Midfoot lockdown pretty good, no heel slippage in the shoe so far. Now in the fit, I think we've got an improved fit here for me, true to size in the length, but what I've noticed is the toe box volume, it's okay, so it's not overly flappy and voluminous, but I think it's just right here, and I think they've nailed the width as well because it feels slightly wider, I think, around where the big toe is. So I quite like the extra room that I'm feeling in this model. Now step-in comfort, not too bad here, so it's not an overly soft and squishy step-in feel, but build quality, excellent as always from Hoka. And in the outsole, pretty familiar design with what's going on here. So they're using their high abrasion rubber here, and again strategically placed on the bottom of the shoe, so it's not just lathered on the bottom, they've just got it placed in their pods, as they like to call it. Now this rubber itself, it's quite thick, it's quite firm as well, so I'm predicting the durability is going to be pretty good. It's going to be about the same as the other models that they use this rubber on. Now in the grip department though, it has got its issues in the wet, so it can get slippery on a freshly wet bitumen road, but obviously in the dry, not too bad at all. And in the midsole, pretty simple design here, just one big slab of that compression molded EVA, so same foam that they used in the previous model. But we did get a stack increase, just remember that. So no plate within the shoe. Flexibility wise, it's a pretty stiff shoe, but yeah, torsion, so left and right movement, it's quite stiff. So, and that certainly translates into the ride. In the geometry department, they've got their early stage meta rocker here, but I think it's been moved. So it feels a bit later in the shoe from their normal early stage meta rocker, but it's still, even though it feels a little bit later, it still does its job for me, takes any slappiness out of this ride. And in the ride, no surprises here again. So same familiar type feeling as what you're going to feel in the other Clifton models. So nothing surprisingly, nothing really new about it, but very cushioned, very protected from the road. I do really appreciate this extra stack, and I do feel that it is a little bit more suited now to probably those longer runs, but it's super comfortable ride. It's not soft and it's not overly squishy, so you don't sink into this foam. So it's got a more of a dense type cushion, so yeah, not much road feel. Sort of reminds me of the Nimbus 26 or 27, but without that really soft sock liner that they have on the top. This one's got a bit of a more of a responsive sock liner on top, so you don't get that soft mushy step-in feel in this shoe, but it's still got that same dense feedback in the cushioning department. So it's surprisingly stable as well, so very safe shoe. And I think with the lack of sink and squish into this shoe, although it's still on the softer side, I think it's going to be okay in the efficiency department as well. So I know with this improved fit and this bigger stack height, I think I'm more likely to take it on a long run now. What I'm liking in this shoe so far is certainly the extra stack height in the midsole. Really appreciate that, and also this improved fit. And what I'm still figuring out is not really got to do with anything about the actual Clifton itself. It's just how safe they played it with this shoe. I think they've played it a bit safe here, so it's still a little bit boring. I think it's still, this midsole still could do with an update. And dislikes is probably the grip issues in the wet, and also I think it's still a little bit overpriced for what you get. And just wrapping up my first impressions here, so no real surprises with the new model. So if you're a fan of the old model, I think you're going to appreciate the update, the subtle updates of this new model. It still feels like a Clifton, still rides like a Clifton. It's not exciting in any way, but it's not designed to be exciting. It's a daily trainer, and it's going to be able to deliver exactly what it's designed for. So I do think the Clifton though is falling a little bit behind in the innovation space. So I do think this midsole foam does need an update. It does need to catch up with the competition, because a lot of the other shoes out there are introducing the newer foams, some PEBA mixes or some supercritical foams, where I think that this shoe certainly needs. But apart from that, yeah, solid option. It's going to do its job. Nothing really wrong with the shoe, just a little bit boring. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Any questions you've got regarding this shoe, how it compares to anything else, feel free to just ask me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.